Stay on, gentlemen. Joining us for a quick CNBC TV18 boardroom is Bajaj Electrical, and joining us to talk more about is Mr. Anant Bajaj of the company. He joins in on the phone line. Good afternoon, Anant, and thanks so much for joining in. It's a good set of earnings from you all. Revenue growth of close to about 20%. This time around, there is a profit that you've reported of close to about 1.6%. But, if I look at your consumer durables business, where there was pressure in the previous quarter, margins over there have come down yet again, though you've reported a good revenue. Can you walk us through what the outlook is for consumer durables going ahead?
Well, for the financial year FY 14-15, we are looking at a 15% growth in our consumer durables, and similar is the growth we're looking at in our lighting segment, which is basically 15% growth as well. And our E&P business will grow to about 25%. Now, specifically to your point about consumer durable and the margin drop, largely we have had the drop in some of our seasonal products which did not take off the way it normally should have. And at the same time, although our fans had a better overall growth, a lot of the sub-economy fan had not got that correct traction level at which we would have enjoyed normally. And so I think it's all a mix of, one is of course the seasonal factor to the seasonal products, but at the same time, raw material pricing which we had normally would have probably able to pass on to the market, that could not happen. And so basically what would have been a normal situation of even giving some price increases, that we have essentially delayed it in many products. So going forward, we are looking at that because the price which we have seen going up and down as far as raw material is concerned, that should stabilize. And importantly, the volume which we did not get in the first quarter, that should come back in the quarter following. Because really it's also about this time the rains have come at a right, sort of good time, but it's coming at a time when it's already sentiments in the market to buy has kind of already deflated. So I think it's post-monsoon when we really expect a lot of things should come back very strongly. And in lighting segment specifically, we've had a impact of the CFL, which has clearly seen a lot of volume drop as well as margin as a clear result that LED is taking over in the market in a very clear way. And so therefore it will be an important thing to see how CFL can survive with this sort of situation which LED is creating.
Right, Mr. Bajaj, thanks so much for joining in this afternoon. In fact, as we speak, your stock is down close to around 11% odd. And your lighting business, it's a smaller segment of your revenues. It's only around 20-25% approximately. But the revenues over there grew only by around 7%. The street was estimating something in excess of 20%. Can we see that 20% plus mark going ahead?
Yes, in the EPC business, the specific fact is that, we consciously did not go after only for the top line. In fact, we have been now changed our strategy where we look at how well we can execute the projects so that we really get the full advantage of the situation. And to that extent, in the coming 3 quarters, it will be very strong. And for the growth and the top line, bottom line, and the overall should be very strong. And clearly with the quarter 1 results is a good testimony that with the kind of almost 20 crores of improvement over last year, it's clearly come to being in the right direction. Although ideally we would have seen, I think, closer to a 0-0 situation in terms of that minus 26 or so should have become 0-0. But we had the some amount of impact, almost 2 crores of impact with the new Companies Act dealing on the depreciation, which the calculation has changed. So we had to take some amount of hit on that, which essentially would have probably should not continue in the next quarters. But in the bigger sense, we clearly have a very good order book in hand. We got, in fact, currently around 2,200 odd crores of order books, so which is at very good margins, and the overall set is very favorable. And so therefore, I think overall that segment there should not be any trouble on the overall, because clearly there is not too much there. But lighting segment clearly has an opportunity with LED, which is where we are going very strong on, and where in the next 2 quarters especially you'll see a lot of change coming in that overall revenue and profitability, because one thing is very clear, that CFL is going to be a product which is in the dying stages. In the next 4 to 5 years, potentially CFL may not be a product to look out at all. So therefore we are looking at it in a way where it can really be the CFL which kind of gets taken over by LED sale, and which we are creating very specific products which will take care of that.
Okay, Ananth, a few questions. In consumer durables, you said that the company couldn't pass on the increase in input costs. So the price increases did not take place in Q1. Will the company be increasing prices? If yes, by how much and when?
There will be certainly some amount of price increases during the rest of the 3 quarters. When and how much is difficult to say at this stage, but certainly it will be keeping in mind of consumer sentiment and the buying capability, because we don't really want to create a increase by which we don't get customer to want to buy the product. So to that extent, we will be cautious on how much we really put it up, because once you increase the price, you really have to even maintain it eventually. So we don't want to play a price game. We want to play a product availability, and I would say product quality game. So if the quality is good, like we have some very high-end products in the world, which even in a recession sells like 51 million in a quarter. So therefore we clearly don't see the price game should be the way to work. It has to be the product itself getting that traction by doing well.
Okay, Anand, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in, and wish you good luck in the coming quarter. Shifting focus, the banking secretary, G.S. Sandhu, has said that stake down...